This is Suicide Notes by Michael Thomas Ford, Day 4. Here are the basic facts. My name is Jeff. I'm 15. I have a sister named Amanda who's 13. My parents are still married to each other, and all four of us live in a perfectly nice house in a perfectly nice neighborhood, in a perfectly nice city that's exactly like a billion other cities. My parents have never beaten us. I've never been molested by a priest. I don't hate the other kids at my school any more than is normal for a kid my age. I don't listen to death metal, have an obsession with violent video games, or cut the heads off small animals for fun. That's pretty much everything I told Cat Poop in our session today, which is a lot more than I told him yesterday, when I basically sat silent in the chair across from him until he told me I could go. Today, though, he tapped his pencil against the pad of paper he was holding and just stared at me. Apparently, that's what therapists do to get you to open up. The thing is, it works. The longer he stared at me, the more I wanted to talk, if only to make him stop tapping. I didn't want to talk about me, though, so I talked about everyone else in the group and how weird they were. This was after our second group session, in which I learned that Alice chews her hair, Juliet still loves Bone, and Bone still loves his shoes. Very deep stuff. I don't belong here, I informed Cat Poop, thinking maybe this just hadn't occurred to him. These people are seriously demented. It's not good for me to be around them. I might catch something. He didn't answer me for a minute. He just kept tapping. Tap, 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 tap. Until finally I told him if he didn't stop, I was going to grab the pencil and stab myself in the throat. He put the pencil in his pocket. Why don't you think you belong here? He asked. Why do you think I do? I said. He started with the staring thing again, but didn't answer me. It's amazing how that guy can go forever without blinking. I tried not to blink either, but my eyes got really dry. Finally, I started talking again. Are you a real doctor? I asked him. I mean, with a diploma and everything? I'm a psychiatrist, he said. I'm a psychiatrist, he said. So you're not really a doctor, I said. A psychiatrist is also a medical doctor, he told me. A psychologist isn't. So what you're saying is that you think you're better than a psychologist, I said. That's not very nice. I mean, I bet they worked hard too. They're two very different things, he said. Where did you go to school? I asked. A real college or one of those schools in the Caribbean? I heard somewhere that people who can't get into real medical schools all go to the Caribbean, where apparently all you have to do is drink fruity drinks and sit on the beach for 4 years and they give you a diploma. I did my undergraduate work at the University of Chicago and got my doctorate at the University of Toronto. Canada, I said, so you did have to go to a foreign country. I shook my head like this was a big disappointment. I'm sorry, Doc. I'm just not comfortable with your credentials. I think I need a second opinion. I've been working with young people for 10 years, Cat Poop said. I assure you that I'm quite qualified to help you. 10 years, I said. I was kind of surprised. I didn't think he was that old. What'd you do, start college when you were 9? Or by working with young people, do you mean you were a camp counselor or something? I thought maybe he'd tell me how old he is, but he went back to staring. I looked around the office, ignoring him. Besides his desk, there's a couch and another chair besides the one I was sitting in. And they're not the plastic kind we have in the lounge. They're real leather ones and don't make your butt hurt. There's a bookcase with a bunch of boring-looking books in it, and a plant with pink flowers on top of it. On one of the walls, there's a painting of a black and white dog holding a dead bird in its mouth. He also has a window, and it doesn't have wire in it. I guess they're not afraid the shrinks will jump out. I thought about trying it, but we're on the 4th floor, and I'm pretty sure I'd break my leg if I did. Then I'd be crazy and in a cast, which is kind of overdoing it a little. I'm not like them, I said when I got tired of looking at his office. Not like who? He asked, as if he'd already forgotten what we were talking about. Them, I said, waving my hands around. The rest of the group. I mean, seriously, look at them. They're crazy. Why do you say that? I held up one finger. One tried to barbecue a guy, I said. I kept going, holding up another finger for each person I ticked off. One is in love with another one who doesn't seem to know who she is or where he is. And one, I concluded, pointing a final finger in the air, threw herself into a lake for no reason. And you feel that you're different from them, he said. Yeah, I told him, don't you? Tell me about your family, he said. Wait! Like I said, my family's totally normal. Well, as normal as most families are, which means that sometimes we fight about stuff, but the rest of the time we get along. We're so boring that I almost wanted to make up a bunch of drama to tell Cat Poop, like that my mother locks my sister and me in the cellar when we complain about what she made for dinner, or that my father pressures me to be the best at everything. But my dad always says he was never good at math either, and that my A's in English more than make up for my C's in trigonometry. And my mom usually picks up dinner at China Dragon or south of the border because when she tries to cook, the stove catches on fire, so dinner at our house is never a problem. They're great, is what I said to Cat Poop. Everything is totally great. Then why did you try to kill yourself? The guy has a one track mind, and it's getting on my nerves. I waited a long time to make him think I was seriously considering the question. Then I sighed. Okay, I said, I guess I'll tell you. Cat Poop straightened up a little in his chair. He took the pencil out again and held it over the pad, like he had to be ready to write down every single word of a historic speech or something. I did it because I hesitated, blinking and sniffing a little, like I might start to cry at any second. I did it because I couldn't stand to live in the same world as Paris Hilton. I waited for him to yell at me, but he just sat in his chair, scribbling on the pad. After a minute, he looked up at me. Somehow, I doubt Miss Hilton is responsible for your troubles. As annoying as she may be, she has not, as far as I know, been responsible for any deaths. So why don't you just tell me the real reason? There is no reason, I said. I was getting angry because he wasn't listening to me. I just did it. I'm a teenager. We get bored and do stupid stuff. Now I'm over it and I want to go home. He looked at his watch and said we were done for the day. I just wanted to get out of there. So when he told me they were taking me off one of my drugs and that I might feel a little out of it tonight, I just nodded and walked out without looking at him. Sure enough, when Goody gave me my afternoon paper cup of happy tablets, one of the blue ones was gone. For a couple of hours, I was okay. Then I started feeling a little tired, and now I feel like someone kicked me in the head a few thousand times. It's a really crappy feeling to realize that your entire outlook on your life can be controlled by some little pill that looks like a Pez, and that some weird combination of drugs can make your brain think it's on a holiday somewhere really sweet when actually you're standing naked in the middle of a school cafeteria while everyone takes pictures of you, metaphorically or whatever.